All right, everyone, welcome back to my live. Thank you to those who actually join every other week. Definitely appreciated. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any future lives. But welcome back. If you are listening on Facebook or LinkedIn, welcome back and make sure that you follow so that you do not miss any of this amazing information. Okay, I have my girl Becky with me here today. So, for those of you who do not know us, first off, my name is Becky Bloechle. I'm the founder of Motivate with K.A.T, which is an admissions online training program. So, I create online trainings for enrollment advisors and the leadership team. I'm also the host of EdUp Career School's The Scoop. So that gives me the opportunity to meet with everyone involved in the enrollment process. I feel that sometimes people don't have a voice. They don't have a platform where they can really express themselves and talk about how the system is broken, but how we can fix it one day at a time. So that is the platform and the opportunity that I give people to really express themselves and talk about how we can really help our students succeed. I have my girl Becky with me today. So introduce yourself, Becky.
Hey, everybody. My name is Becky Bloechle, and I am also an admissions consultant. I have been in the industry for about 20 years now, guys. I know, crazy, time flies when you're having fun or working in admissions or education, higher ed. So all 20 years of my work experience has not been specific to admissions, but it has been in sales and higher education. But my favorite role has always been in admissions. I actually started helping out in admissions when I was an undergraduate student myself. So that's kind of how I got introduced to it. And it was just like, while I was working on campus, I helped out in the admissions office, making calls to prospective students, giving tours. So not a lot of people know that about me, but that's kind of how I got started in admissions. I switched over to education. I was a adjunct professor for a while, and then I got back into admissions, did a lot of field admissions, focused just on high school for a while, became a DOA, just a wide different, variety of admissions roles and experiences, different types of schools, universities, community colleges, trade schools. And now I primarily work with beauty schools across the country.
Which we can tell, Becky.
Thank you, Miss Kathy.
Of course. So today, guys, it is all about referrals, okay,
Yes.
which is most advisors' nightmares. And I do not understand why that is. So let me just go back to the top. All right, so we're talking about how to gain more referrals. And this is what's crazy. Check this out. 91% of customers say that they'll give a referral, and only 11% of salespeople ask for one. And this is mind-boggling to me. This is the easiest way to build activity, to build your schools, and yet still, salespeople are afraid to ask for them. So we're going to get into what holds you back from asking for referrals. And let me ask you this, Becky, when you were an advisor, because we're OGs, like it's like back in the day. But do you remember? Were you afraid to ask for referrals?
So me personally, Kathy, no, because I am a total people person. I thrive on, just being out of my comfort zone. I have a theater background. I am like the extrovert of extroverts. I have a minor in theater arts and performance. So for me, no, but I know there are all kinds of advisors out there. People who are super, super extroverted do really well as an admissions advisor, but not everybody who's in admissions is really super extroverted. There's a lot of introverted people who make excellent admissions advisors as well. And maybe they are feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So I totally understand why this is an important topic, and love that we're training on this today.
It's interesting because I came from outdoor sales. So you would think that the extroverts are the ones who's like outdoor sales, cold calling, I'm more for it. I am extremely introverted. Okay, which most people will go, what, you? But really and truly, if I have to turn it on, I turn it on. But really and truly, I am extremely introverted, and I was freaked out asking for PDLs, which is crazy. Because in my mind, when I started off as an advisor, I'm like, wait a minute, the conversation is already challenging. And now you want me to ask this person for another person? But I found that throughout the years, it's because I didn't know how to ask.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is training and education, like this seminar that we're doing today.
Absolutely.
But Kathy, I also think a big part of it is a mindset shift. I think it's really all in the brain. A lot of admissions being successful is switching your mindset and having that growth mindset. And a part of that is being comfortable doing new things. And maybe you've never done this before, but you're willing to give it a try. And, just being open to trying new things is really what's going to help you kind of unlock that key. That's going to be the key that unlocks that door to success, is just having a growth mindset. So even if this is really scaring you right now, guys, just be open to trying it, right? Just be open to trying it. We're going to give you a lot of ideas, but maybe you just want to try one or two things that feel comfortable for you, and in implementing it and then going from there.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Becky. All right. So first off, let's get into why referrals are so important. So Becky, walk us through this.
All right. So I am a big fan of work smarter, not harder. Are you a big fan of that, Kathy?
No, 100%.
So I would say, why should admissions advisors ask for referrals? Number one reason, referrals make your life easier. Point blank. I don't even know what else I have to say, but they make your job easier. And there's a couple bullet points that kind of break down why that is. So the first one is that they convert 30% better than leads from other sources, right? So what that basically means is you get leads that come in from your digital marketing or, commercials that are on TV. I don't know, however your school advertises, those leads come in. And those are typically your highest converting leads of all the leads you're getting in. But guess what? Referrals trump those leads. These leads that you personally get or ask for are going to, whatever you're converting at with those leads, these leads are going to, on average, convert 30% better than those leads. So it's just statistically, making your life easier because they're more likely to go through the process with you and actually start school.
100%. And for advisors, just keep in mind, think of you interviewing someone and they loved you. They're going to go back to their friends and family and go, oh my gosh, you have to call Becky. She is amazing. And then they're going to give their version of the program, right? But when you speak to them, all you're doing is cleaning up those facts that they might have missed. But the student is already excited. Okay, that's why they convert so much higher.
Yeah. And they're more loyal. So referred customers or students. So students are our customers in admissions, right? This is educational sales. So our students are on average 18% more loyal than non-referred students. So what that means is that they're less likely to ghost you when they have their first admissions appointment, when they need to come back and do their enrollment appointment, when they need to show up for the first day of school. We've got a 20% higher chance that they're going to actually do what they say they're going to do. So I will take that extra 20%. I don't know about you.
Hello, 100%.
So they're just, they're more loyal, because they feel loyal to you and they feel loyal to the friend that maybe gave them their information, right? So that gave you their information. So there's that loyalty piece. And then, they just keep your business going. They keep your business moving. Maybe you have a week where you don't get a lot of leads. I don't know how the lead rotation works at your particular office, but I find this a lot. Some weeks you get tons of leads and some weeks you're low. So guess what? You are the master of your own fate. You can make your own leads anytime you want. And that is by asking for referrals.
Correct. And you know, there are some schools who solely operate by asking for referrals because the lead flow is almost non existent. So, you advisors out there who are very lead rich, look, there's a lot of people in the industry who don't have that opportunity. So, guess what? They don't have a choice but to build their classes based on strictly referrals.
Yeah. And, customers that are referred by other customers are 4 times then more likely to refer their friends and family. So that means that, you are going to be able to ask them for a referral, and they're going to be 4 times more likely to have a name or of a friend or a family member that they would recommend for you. So you are just kind of getting that ball rolling, and then it's just going to take off from there when it comes to referrals. And then the last piece, Kathy, is just that referrals are free.
Boom.
They're free.
Hello. Okay. So now you're saving your school some money.
Yeah. So that's, I think, probably more important to any like business owners that are watching this, or, management, things like that. But, leads are very expensive, very, very expensive. So this is a huge opportunity to get free leads.
Absolutely. Here's what's interesting. So it says 82% of Americans say that they seek recommendations from friends and family when considering a purchase. So, Becky, I could imagine that you shop online.
Yeah.
Okay, I do. But how many times do you go to a website and you're abandoning it because you've never heard of that company before? And you're looking at their items and you're like, oh man, this looks really good. But you read through some of the reviews and you can't even gauge which direction you can go. The minute that you ask a friend or a family member, and they're like, oh, definitely. All of a sudden, you click that purchase button. But you've been visiting this site over and over and over and never made a purchase. And someone else tells you, who you value their opinion, that it's good. And all of a sudden, here you go with a shopping cart full of things that you're now checking out.
Right. Or maybe just like a company you've never even heard of before. And then somebody like says, oh, you're like, hey, I love that top. Where did you get it? And they're like, oh, I got it at Shein. And you're like, what's Shein? And then you're like, oh, I never would have shopped, on this website, or never even heard of this. And then you're like, every week you're shopping at Shein. I don't know. It's just an example.
I love it. So here's some ways that you can actually increase referrals. So you can ask for referrals from customers. We just spoke about that a little bit. You can join lead share groups, build strategic partnerships, launch a referral program. That's a yummy one. Or you can host in-house referral events. These are some really great ways. So let's get into who to ask. So number one, prospective students. Come on, people. A lot of times when it comes to your students, their opinions hold a lot of weight. What you want to do is build those students up first, right? And you're talking to them about how amazing they are. And then you ask them for referrals. Remember, in a lot of cases, they've already experienced, what your school has to offer. Enroll the current students. You may have people who have now been in class for an entire module. So now they have an idea of what they don't like about the program, if anything. But most importantly, they know some instructors that they've probably built great relationships with already. They know a lot of the curriculum. They felt the support in your school. So those are people who are really going to be great when it comes to asking for referrals. Clients in the SSTA. Talk to us about that, Becky.
Yeah, this is kind of beauty school specific, but hopefully there's some beauty schools out there listening today. So really the student salon training area is what SSTA stands for. And that's really like the salon floor where people go and they come to the school and the students get a chance to actually work on real clients, right? So they're doing haircuts, colors, they're giving manicures, pedicures, massages, facials, whatever it is that they're learning, right? So we can ask the clients that are coming in, that are receiving the services, maybe they themselves are interested in becoming a student and going back to school. Sometimes, or a lot of time, these people are going to be more of an elderly population. So they might have friends or family or grandchildren or children that might be in our target age group, just coming out, getting ready to graduate, or, that 18 to 24 kind of prime target demographic that also are looking for a school to go to. And they're great, just to kind of have some sort of a, incentive for them to go ahead and make some recommendations and referrals.
Absolutely. And I used to work with a barber in beauty school a couple of years ago. And a lot of times, you just had people coming in from the community who used to come in and get free cuts. And in a lot of cases, those were the people who actually turned into students.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden they're saying, you know what, this is a great environment. And these are students who are actually cutting my hair or dyeing my hair or whatever. And now they want that opportunity. And in a lot of cases, some of these people have never even thought about a career in the beauty industry at all. But the excitement got them to the point where they're like, you know what, why not?
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. Graduates and professionals, we always used to set up tables at graduation day. Because these people are now at the height of their excitement. They've completed a program that in a lot of cases they never thought was possible for them. And a lot of times when you have students in that situation, they know about 5 or 10 other students who are in the same exact situation. And now they're saying to their friends and family, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. All right. Absolutely. So graduates, professionals, okay, when to ask. So here is where it gets meaty, right? Because so many times advisors are afraid of asking for PDLs because they feel that the student is thinking, you haven't even helped me yet. And you're asking me for a referral. But it's when to ask, and it's who and how to ask for one. So first off, the first admissions call and appointment. This is one of the areas where I know a lot of you are saying, I'm not asking for a referral the first time I talk to students. Here's what you do. Coming down to the appointment setting. All you're doing is saying, you know what, do you have a friend or a family member who can accompany you to your appointment, who can act as a support, or who can assist you in asking questions you may forget to ask? 9 out of 10, the person that they invite is the person who may be interested in the program.
Okay? You got it.
So you're not saying, hey, so I want to invite you down to the school. And by the way, you have anybody else that may be interested? That is a turnoff to students. Okay, so ask during your first call and the appointment, during the interview. But you don't ask at the beginning of the interview. You wait until the very end after you recommend the student, and then you begin to build them. You know what? It's been a great experience today. And we're looking for students just like you who are dedicated and committed to success. Then you make it all about the student, not about the friend. Do you have anyone who can act as a support to you during your time in school, or who can be a study buddy? Right. Who can benefit from the same training that you're about to receive? It's all about them. You make it about the student, you're not getting anyone. Okay. You make it about the friend, you're not getting anyone. Make it about them. They're going to find you so many people. And Becky, I used to have an advisor who built her entire class on pure PDLs. They loved her so much. She's like, okay, I need 5 from you, 5 from you, 5 from you. And they were like, of course. And she just built her entire class on PDLs because she built such a great relationship with them. They trusted her.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And I think that when we ask for these referrals at these times, first admissions calls and appointments, it's really a soft ask. It's not, here, fill out this card. Here's a pen, here's a paper. It's not like, we're not forcing them to do it. It's really a soft ask. So you don't have to feel a certain kind of way about it, because it is not a certain kind of way. We're just trying to honestly help them, because we know that they're going to be doing better in the program if they have someone that they're doing it with. They're going to be more committed. They're going to have more fun. They're going to study better. They're going to show up to class more often. So again, it's that mindset, switch of, this is really helping the student, right? Because we know in the back of our mind that people who have someone to do this with are more successful. So we're just trying to set them up for success, and that's our job.
There you go.
And if they say no, don't take it personal. It's like,
it is what it is.
If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
There you go. You lose 100% of opportunities that you do not take.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the bottom line. And guess what? What may happen if you ask? They may have someone or two. Okay, and then it should drive you to want to ask even more. Classroom visits, this is very important. I remember when I was a DOA, I used to love doing events where we go to the classroom, we hand out like snacks and donuts and stuff like that, but it was also an opportunity to ask the students about their experiences, but if
Mhm.
they know anyone who might be interested in the program. When they get to a certain point, they feel locked in the school anyway, if they're actually enjoying their experience. So do
Mhm.
classroom visits, do check-ins, and then ask them, do they know anyone who's struggling, who's in the same situation, who's looking for an opportunity? And just like Becky said, it's a very soft ask. Okay.
Mhm.
You're not going in there and saying, all right, so you've been here a month. You should have someone by now. Okay, because that's a turn off. And then during the stitch process, that I know a lot of you advisors don't even like to stitch. Okay, this follow-up process after the enrollment is huge. But I always say during the stitch process, when you're asking you how you feel about starting school, have you ordered your office supplies yet? That's a perfect opportunity to say, hey, so have you thought of anyone who can benefit from the program and act as your study buddy? That's another opportunity, because sometimes when they're enrolling, they don't have anyone at the top of their mind. But
Mhm.
as they go through the process, they're like, oh my gosh, my friend or my coworker, after I enrolled, they asked me where I was that day, and I told them, and they're like, hey, talk to me about the program. So don't be afraid to ask again somewhere within the process. People don't always have that right at the forefront of their mind the very first time. And so, Becky, you could talk to us about exit interviews and events.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up though about the
Yeah.
stitching process. That was genius, Kathy. I mean, we always think about the front end and the back end and we forget there's a middle and situations change along the way. So we always have to be asking. Okay, exit interviews. So I am a big believer in constant education. I mean, I love higher ed. I love, Kathy and I are super passionate about education. That's why we do what we do, and we help develop people within education. And I attend all different kinds of trainings all the time so that I can, keep sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually an idea that I got from a fellow consultant from Beauty School Directory, Jen Lyles. And I went to
Oh,
a training that,
Jen.
yeah. So shout out to Jen. Um,
Woo-woo.
because this is something that I learned on a training that she
Mhm.
provided, and I think it's genius. So we have to conduct exit interviews, and a lot of times admissions will be in charge of conducting those interviews depending on how your school is set up. And really what we want to do is we want to find out about their experience, right? How did they enjoy their time at the school? What did they like? What did they not like? We want to get a vibe of just, the time that they had with us.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, just like you said earlier, Kathy, during the appointment, we have to make it about them and
Mhm.
not about the school. So we have to say things like, we want more students just like you, right?
Mhm.
We want, so leave us a stellar review online. How can you help us get more students like you, right? Like, so here's the ways that you can partner with us, right? Especially if they had a great experience. Now, if they're sitting there saying like, I hated my teachers, this was not a good fit. Obviously, we're not going to go here with the referral process.
Mhm. Read the room.
When we have a student that's excited and they loved school, they love being a part of the process, and they're just glowing, and it's like the best day of their life. And they're sad to leave, but they're also excited because
Mhm.
they're off to start their dream career. When we have those students, we're praising them, right? And we're saying we want students like you, right?
Mhm.
So here's the way you can help us do that. Like, you can leave us an amazing review online sharing the things that you just shared with me. You can inspire others, with a similar background or story, right? Because maybe they weren't the ideal student starting out and they turned it around. They had a
Mhm.
360 experience. We see that a lot, right? people just need to find their calling and their passion and their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then, life changes. It's something clicks and they become a new person. So maybe you want someone like that with a similar background or story to this particular student.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, who do you know that is like you that would be amazing in this career? So you're just, again, it's a soft ask. Who do you know that's like you, right? Again, you're making it about the person, but you're also bringing in the partnership of the school, because at this point, they want to help the school.
Mm-hmm.
They're a product of this. They're proud of it, and this is, a part of who they are now. It's a part of their growth process, and they want to help other people feel as amazing as they do.
Mm-hmm. Here's another thing with the exit interviews. My executives out there, I know a lot of times you're looking for some really great admissions advisors, and a lot of companies still do exit interviews. Sometimes people leave companies because they have to relocate or they're going to the next step. During that exit interview, that employee can actually, recommend a friend or a family member too, because it cuts down on that interview process. Looking for for fresh, blood is not always the easiest task, especially when it comes to admissions, because this role is not for everyone. So if you can actually gain a referral from an employee who's leaving your company to go to the next level, that actually helps during the exit interview too. So
yeah, absolutely.
So what about events?
Yeah, so events are a great time to ask for referrals because everybody is excited. There's fun things going on. People are happy. There's free food. There's music. The mood is light and happy. And so it's just always a great idea. Anytime your school has an event, make sure that you have a referral table set up, right? So whether it's an open house, or a lot of my schools do like fashion shows or things like that, or whatever it is that you have going on, make sure that you let people know that there's an opportunity that they can kind of share the love, and that they can let other people know about your amazing school and the opportunities that you have. I just think that it's great to just, have admissions, if and when possible, manning this referral table. But I also get that sometimes there's not, enough bandwidth depending on how big your admissions team is. So if you are in a school where you have one, maybe two admissions reps, and they're maxed out and they can't be at every event, then it's okay to have other people at this table as well. Teachers, right? Educators, career services, anybody that can speak to the student experience, is going to be helpful. So don't forego having a referral table just because admissions isn't available. That's basically what I want to say, because it's really powerful always to have that opportunity, because you never know, could just be one name and one phone number. And that's the person that really needs your school and needs to have their life change. So never give up on that one student or that opportunity for that one student.
I love that you said that, because I think in a lot of cases, most people feel that when it comes to referral events or growing a school, oh, that's an admissions thing, Admissions is the engine. Okay, yeah, we understand that, but building a school is everyone's job.
Everyone.
Right. And I remember a lot of schools that I used to work out of, but you had the instructors bring in referrals. You had career services, just like you said. And it's like all hands on deck when it comes to referrals, because even though admissions is the front team, everyone is a part of this entire process to change lives. So it's not always fair to just put everything on admissions. I mean, if you truly, believe in what you're doing too, I think every department should be excited to grow the school as well. So I really love that you brought that out. So let's talk about joining a lead share group.
So this is, for a while, Kathy, I was a field admissions rep. So what that meant was I was a lead generator, right? So there's different models out there of admissions. There's like people who go out and generate the leads and then bring them back. to inside admissions reps who then call and set up the first appointments and work the leads. There are so many different models of ways to do admissions. And sometimes, schools are set up that way. And sometimes it's one or two people that do both. They do field outreach and, they do full cycle. So I've worked in colleges, universities, trade schools where we've had those roles separated out. And then I've also been like a one-woman show where I have to go out, get my own leads, and then come back to the office, call, set up the appointments, and the whole 9 yards. But no matter if you are a dual role or a field rep, it's really important to be in groups that are going to help you create relationships to generate referrals. And that's what lead share groups are all about, right?
True.
So networking associations that meet monthly for professional development, right? So this might be like BNI. I don't know if you have heard of that before, Kathy, Business Network International.
No.
Okay. So it might be like based on your area, but you can kind of Google some of these terms to see if there's any chapters kind of near you. Usually the Chamber of Commerce in your area will have networking groups available. And then even just specific to your area, like I know I live in Michigan, Metro Detroit area. We have Detroit Young Professionals, and, they have a LinkedIn group. They have meetings, that you can be a part of. And these are just specific things that you can just kind of look and get an idea. But if you're saying like, I have no idea, where should I start? I would start with your Chamber of Commerce, like for your city, and see what they have available. And then just kind of say, like go into Google and say, professional development groups near me or networking groups near me. And just see what's out there and what's available. And it's usually, sometimes they meet weekly, sometimes they meet monthly, and it really just depends on your time. So when I was just strictly a field rep, I was going to these events weekly because that was a part of what I did. And I needed to gain more referrals and more leads. However, when I was a dual role, I didn't have as much time. So I was looking for more of a monthly commitment. So you kind of have to look at other opportunities and see what works for you, but definitely don't miss out on these because there are so many benefits to being in a networking group. You get to meet people from all different types of professions. You get a chance to introduce yourself, talk about what you do, give your business cards out, and then they get to refer people that they know in their network. Like, oh, you're looking to go back to school for, whatever. Oh, actually, I know of a great school. Someone in my networking group, is in admissions. Let me get you connected to Kathy. So it's really, I will say it's more the long game, we call it, right? Because sometimes it takes time to build those relationships, but it is totally worth it because you will start getting referrals from multiple sources once you get in there and build those relationships.
Absolutely. It's consistency. If you think about the admissions role, everything that you do is consistent. Consistency, thinking outside the box, being innovative. If you're in your box all the time, you're doing the same thing over and over, it's going to lead to insanity. We already know that, right? So use these buckets and these resources that we're giving you. It's going to be a stress reliever. Okay, so when you talk about building strategic partnerships, utilize your local businesses. It does not matter what industry you are in. You could be in the beauty industry, you could be in healthcare, you could be in information technology. Get with the small businesses in your areas that's actually going to help that particular program that you have in your school grow. Okay, bring a small gift. I remember when I was in CEC, I used to take my advisors to the field, and we used to create like these big banners, and one was in English and one was in Spanish. And we went to different areas, and all we did was walk around and we asked the business owners, hey, do you mind if we put these banners up on your business? And a lot of them were like, you know what, take this entire wall, take that entire window. You would be surprised what the small businesses in your areas are willing to do for your school. You have a
Mhm.
lot of people in the community who believe in education.
Yep.
So they used to let us, just post these big banners on their windows, barbershops, healthcare facilities. Step out there. I know a lot of times it's easier to say, nobody's going to allow us to do that, but you're not going to know unless you step out there.
Mhm.
Okay, even host an event at your campus and then invite those people. We used to have healthcare events all the time in like our parking lot. And if it was for like medical assistant, phlebotomy, guess who we were inviting? All
Mhm.
of the small businesses that had to do with healthcare. They
Mhm.
used to fill up the parking lot. So your community actually cares, but you have to do the groundwork and just reach out and let people know, hey, I'm here. And this is what we offer. You would be surprised the amount of support that you get from surrounding businesses. What about high schools, Becky? This is a big one.
Oh, this is my favorite. This is my love. I was a high school specific recruiter for many years, Kathy, and it is just amazing to get out and build relationships with the local high schools. I know that COVID put, a little bit of a change on this, but I will tell you that it's not an avenue that is that's closed. We have plenty of schools that are still working very closely with the high schools. Some high schools are only allowing like virtual presentations or virtual visitors, but guess what? This year they started having career nights again and college nights and allowing guest speakers in. So please don't feel like COVID closed the door. We can no longer do this, because yes, it might have been a period of time where it was difficult, but this is not a dead end. This is still so important to building your business. And so a couple of ways you can partner with high schools. First and foremost is get with your counselors, because those are going to be the people who are going to naturally bring you referrals, because they're meeting with the students and they're saying, hey, what do you want to do? What's your path? What's your career pathway?
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Counselors know that Gen Z, the students who are graduating right now, they're open to a lot more than just a traditional pathway. So if you are a school that is not a traditional school, the counselors are more open to giving support than they have been in the past, because Generation Z has really changed in what they're looking for in education.
Absolutely.
So counselors do know that, and they are becoming advocates for, for hands-on training and, those type of schools. So if you have a non-traditional school, don't feel like the counselors are going to, give you an attitude or a hard time. They're not. They are going to be welcoming to you, because they know that this is what their students want. So they're going to want to hear what you have to say. So please don't be scared about that. That is the old, right? This is the new.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was out there, and I was working for, hands-on training in career schools, I faced a lot of, counselors that were not fans, and they thought all their students were going to go to a 4-year university.
I remember.
You remember, like 15 years ago?
Yep.
It was tough, but it's not like that anymore. It is not like that anymore. And parents are not like that anymore. Everybody's open to career pathways and different ways of learning. And so they probably don't have information about your school. So this is probably really a great time to go out and start building those relationships. So start with the counselors. They're a great place to start. They can refer you to other, to students that they know that are interested in this area. They can let you know what events are happening at the school, when they're having college and career nights, when they're having opportunities for guest speakers, when you can have a lunch table, whatever it might be. This is a great opportunity. So make sure when you set up an appointment to go meet with someone, you bring information about your school and about your programs. And even you might want to consider hosting an event on site at your school just for counselors. I know that's something that we just talked about in the schools that I help out with, and it's going to be great. You invite them to come out, see your students in your school in action, provide lunch for them, and just educate them about what you do and allow them to see the students at work. And I guarantee you, next time you have an open house, you let them know any students that are interested in your particular field, they're going to send the students your way, encourage them to come to your events and your open houses. And it's going to be life-changing to get these relationships set up.
Absolutely. I love that you brought that up, because even in addition to the counselors, I remember sometimes we used to have school buses coming to the campus filled with high school students, and they all receive, class passes. But you can see the excitement on their faces as they're walking the hallways, they're going into the labs, they're observing classes. And a lot of those students, when they graduated, guess who they came right back to? The school that they just toured. So don't be afraid to get out there and build those relationships. That is super important. And I love that you brought up Gen Z. Okay, because studies have shown that they may be the most educated group of folks yet, right? Because they are privy to more information. And a lot of times they're doing way more research before they even call your school. And like you were saying before, a lot of students and parents are more open to getting into certificate and diploma programs where they could just gain the knowledge and the skills they need to get out into the work field immediately. All right.
Yes.
So more guidance counselors, they are open to that. They used to shut us down back in the days.
Oh, yeah.
Our fly in the garbage. Yeah, we're going to get back to you. And then you see it floating around.
I know. It's so hard. But, this is the thing. Like Gen Z, they're the instant gratification generation, because they don't know a world without Google. They don't know a world without Amazon. And so they know, Kathy, that there is a fast track to everything. There is a quicker way. I can look that up in 2 seconds. I can get this item I need tomorrow, right? So they know that there's a quicker way to what they want. And that's why they're open to career training, because they see that this is the quicker way to the career pathway that they want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So talk to us about creating and launching a referral program.
Yeah. So there's different kinds. So this is definitely something you want to talk with your management team about when you guys are sitting down and kind of doing some strategic planning about, once I start asking for referrals, what is the incentive? Is there going to be an incentive, right? So that's why you have a referral program. So there's different types. A one-sided referral program means that the referrer receives an incentive. So the student you asked receives some kind of an incentive for giving you a name and a phone number and email address of a prospective new student. Okay. So that would be the one-sided. The two-sided would be when both the referrer and the referred student are rewarded. Okay. And then there are some cases where there's no incentive for the referral program. We just ask for referrals. It's a part of what we do. And, we don't reward referrals. So there's nothing wrong with that. Those are the three types. But over 90% of customer rewards are two-sided. So the person who gives the referral is going to receive an incentive. And then the person who was referred also has the opportunity to receive an incentive. But you want to make sure that incentive is relevant to your business or your school setting, whatever that might be. So, and let me just say that it is okay to just ask for referrals without an incentive. You do not have to have an incentive. And this is something you have to be very careful about if you are a school that has Title IV funding. So there are compliance issues around this. So I want to be very, very, very clear that we cannot, if your school has Title IV funding, you cannot incentivize enrollment, period.
You hear that, guys? That is very important. Okay, I know some of you out there are still doing that. So, okay, that is critical. Make sure that you are not doing that. And really and truly, when you think about incentive, right, or not having one at all, if your students trust you and they love your school and they genuinely feel as if you're there for, their benefit, you're not even going to have to worry about an incentive at all. They're going to naturally bring people to you just because they like you. Because they believe in what your school has to offer and because you're actually helping them. Okay, so keep that in mind.
And I think too, Kathy, like a good way to go with incentives are, using school swag or things that are, kind of
Yeah.
related to your school and not necessarily a monetary thing. So when we're talking about compliance, we're not giving away gift cards to people that give us names and phone numbers of students. Like we're not monetarily rewarding them, but we are giving maybe them opportunities for money for the school store or school swag or things like that, that will not create an issue for compliance. I know with a lot of the beauty schools, what they're able to do is they're able to like given incentives towards products that people would use, or if they're like asking for referrals from people in the salon training area, they're able to say, here's a discount on your next service or things along those lines. So think about what it is that you could give out. I know, Kathy, you mentioned like you would go to the classrooms and you would bring goodies or candy or donuts. Those are also incentives, right? And they're not monetary. So there are creative ways to do it. Just be very careful that it's not like you're not handing out money for names and phone numbers. Like you're not giving gift cards or cash or money. Like that's just the one thing I want to say about that.
100%. And I love that you said that, because connecting to that, you can also host in-house referral events. So earlier we were talking about setting up tables, right? And I think probably in every school that I've worked with, I've set up tables in the hallway. And you had mentioned earlier, do it at a time where the students are the most excited. So that's when they're ending a class and they're actually going to their next class, right? They would be coming off the elevator, coming up the steps, and boom, there's admissions with their table. And one thing we used to do were those coupons, right?
Coupons, nice.
So what happens is if a student comes to the table, we used to have stuff really simple. You spoke about school swag, right? They love that. Colorful pencils with the school name on it. You have you had the big cups, the tumblers, right? Sometimes it was just candy. You'd be surprised how humble your students are, where they see a mini Snicker bar and they're like, oh my gosh, what do I have to do to get that?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they're hungry. So they give a name, and you have to make sure that if you're going to do this, the entire school has to be included in that event. So you have to give every student something. But what happens is if they give a name, then they get 2 of whatever item that they want. If they give another name, now they get 3 of those coupons. And then you tally it up. And the next day we used to go and announce the winner who gave the most PDLs, and they got a big tumbler. You would be surprised how excited these students were just to receive a candy bar. Okay, just to receive a glass or a tumbler. Even when I used to work for the chef school, that was really exciting, right? But you'd be surprised what your students are really excited about, where they're going to be willing to give you referrals. You also have Bring a Friend to School Day. This is an easy way to get students into your schools, because once again, if your students are enjoying their experience, they're going to want their friends and family members to come along with them. And what you do, you just make sure that you give them a class pass, right? So that the instructors know, okay, who these folks are. Make sure that you choose a class where they're going to be doing something interactive for the day, because no one wants to sit through a lecture.
Right.
Right? But choose that class and have them observe. But here's what you have to do. Make sure that you have someone from admissions prepared to go around your school and pull all of those buddies out of class so that you can do a presentation for everyone. And so many times you can have multiple enrollments on a Bring a Friend to School Day if it's done the right way.
Yeah.
Okay. Referral bulletin board. This is something that I had actually came up with in the last school that I was working with. So what it is, a lot of you may have these big glass bulletins in the hallways. What I used to do is any student who actually referred a friend, whether it's a friend or a family member, I took a picture of both of them. And the picture went inside the bulletin in the hallway. Here's how we got more referrals, because those students saw those students inside the in the bulletin, and they're like, hey, Miss Kathy, how do I get into that bulletin? And I'm like, gotta bring me a friend. Do you know anyone who can benefit from our program? And just based on that, These students started bringing in other referrals who enrolled in the program, loved their experience, and you take a picture of them. So now you're able, it's good for touring. Because now when you have new people that are in the school and you're touring, you can say, hey, this is our buddy board. All of these students that you're seeing in this bulletin referred each other. And guess what? Now they want to be a part of the bulletin also. So you have to be innovative and you have to have fun with this, because our students, they do want to win, but it's also going to make their life much easier when they have their buddies sitting next to them and they're actually supporting each other throughout the program. Okay.
And people are dying for recognition, aren't they? Aren't they, Kathy? Like they see that and they want to be a part of it. People are dying to be a part of community. People are dying to feel connected, because even though we are so connected right now in the age of social media, it's not the same connection that people are really craving and missing. They're looking for real connection with real human beings in real time. And that's a great way to do that, is through these type of events and, these type of, programs that you were talking about, because it gives them recognition, it gives them community, it gives them sense of purpose. And this is really what people want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have anything for our audience before we go, Becky?
No, I just think, when it comes to referrals, just don't be afraid to ask. Really and truly and honestly, that first statistic is so important to remember. When you are feeling nervous and afraid, remember 91% of people will give you a referral or want to give you a referral. You just have to ask. So, I know Kathy started with that, but I want to end with that too, because I think that that's so powerful, because you don't have to be nervous, because you know that over 90% of people want to give you a referral. They do.
Yep. Knowing the facts is very important. And to piggyback off of that, Becky, what's very important to understand is when you feel nervous, that's when you're growing. You grow in your discomfort.
Yeah.
So if you're on the phone or if you're interviewing and you start feeling the bubbles in your stomach because you're about to ask for one, that is a very good thing, because you're going to grow through that. And guess what? The student may say, oh my gosh, I do have someone that I can refer, to you guys. And now you realize, oh my gosh, this actually works. And what's going to happen? You're going to want to do it again.
Yeah. Growing your confidence. Yeah.
That it actually worked. Okay. One more thing for my advisors: when you are on the phone, do not be afraid to ask for referrals, even if someone is not interested in your program.
Yeah.
You can pick up a lot of folks by just saying, okay, so sorry we weren't able to help you today, but do you know of anyone who needs this type of training, or anyone who's looking for an opportunity? I have heard so many people get referrals from people who are not interested and people who you could not help. You can get a referral from anyone. It does not matter if they are looking for an opportunity at your school. You can get a referral at the restaurant. There's people that I go into the store and I'm like, I like her, and you'd be surprised. Some of these folks may be looking for another opportunity. So just don't be afraid to ask. Okay, Becky, thank you so much for joining today. This was a lot of fun. Okay. Listen, make sure that if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel at Motivate with K.A.T, that you head over there and subscribe. You will see this live on YouTube. Okay, if you want to rewatch it again, also, if you follow my podcast, you're going to see all of my previous podcast episodes if you enjoy video. And for my admissions people, there are tons of 1-minute videos on my YouTube that you can watch and jump on the phone and say, oh my gosh, I can use that immediately. Okay, we do what we do because we are passionate about people. We are passionate about really getting you to the next level in your career. So we hope to see you back again. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Kathy.
Anytime.